Okay, this is an exciting one. I've been wanting to show this off for a little while. Really excited about this new technology that's come out that is not an Arcserve product but works with Arcserve so well. It just solves problems that have needed addressing for a while. The problem I'm talking about is, of course, getting your backups to the cloud at a very low cost, um, using low cost object based storage for a, a long term retention solution. Um, so the cloud that we do distribute is Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage, which is the best value object based storage available, certainly in Australia. It performs amazingly well. It is located in Sydney, in Australia, so it is a great choice for your object-based storage. And there's a product that we have available that really changes how we get the data to the cloud. The, the product is called Wasabi NAS. Now, with the Wasabi NAS, you're able to point the NAS software at a folder and it will automatically sync anything you have in that folder or anything you write in that folder to the cloud. Then it can be configured to remove data that hasn't been touched over a period of time to basically thin out the capacity. What we're left with is just the files on the disk that need to be on the disk. Plus, if you happen to access any of the files that are no longer on the disk, they're automatically brought down from the cloud and made available. Let me show you what I mean. So you can see here I have a folder that I've configured with Wasabi NAS, and you can see that I have a selection of files here that have a green cloud icon next to them. The green cloud icon means that that file is located on the local disk and is in the cloud. You can see other icons that shows a outline of a cloud but not colored in. That means that the file is in the cloud but isn't local. This is just a pointer to that file. Now, if I look in some of my folders here, this is where I'm obviously storing my backups. You can see some files. Here's a file, an icon file that is not stored locally. In fact, if I look at the properties for that particular file, you'll see size on disk is 0 bytes. Total size is 74 kilobytes. What happens when I click that file? It opens up. And you'll see now I've opened it up. It is actually now a colored in cloud icon. It's been restored automatically from the cloud. So how does this work for Arcserve UDP? Well, quite simply, we can use this particular folder. In this case, I've created a non-deduplicated data store as my backup destination. You can see if I look at the entire size of this folder, size is 34 gigs. It's actually consuming 700 megabytes on disk. It's a tiny fraction of the amount of data that's backed up. The rest of the data that's missing is all stored happily in the cloud. So how have I set this up? First of all, if I go to UDP and look at my plan, I'm doing a backup to a non-dedupe data store. I have 2 servers backing up to that data store. I can modify the backup plan and take a look. You can see is my task 1 is an backup, an agent-based backup. and my destination is the non-dedupe data store. Simple as that. I'm running a schedule. This is a huge difference between copy recovery point. I'm running a backup schedule every 15 minutes between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So every 15 minutes my backup is stored in the cloud, and it's incremental. It's not a full hydrated copy of the backup to the cloud. Now, using a non-dedupe data store, what are the disadvantages? Obviously the amount of retention may be limited compared to using a deduplicated data store. Each time I add a server, at least I'm going to be consuming at least the size of that server on disk. We're not deduplicating amongst other servers, but obviously the bulk of that data is going to be stored in the cloud on very low cost storage. Another limitation is we are unable to replicate to a remotely managed RPS from a non-dedupe data store. If you're familiar with what that means, it does limit our off-site replication options. However, there's a very simple and very effective workaround for that, and that is to perform a replication task to a locally dedupe data store. So we have a backup that goes to the non-dedupe data store, and a replication task that goes to a deduplicated data store. From there, we are perfectly able to perform the replicate to a remotely managed RPS task. So we are not limited in any way by backing up initially to a non-dedupe data store. So the question might be, what about if we want to do a restore of one of these servers from data that is actually no longer located on the disk? As you can see, the size of, I don't have much data on this disk in this non-dedupe data store, so what's going to happen? Let's go through the wizard and let's just do a restore task. I'm going to first of all choose my recovery points, and you can see my data store I'm using is my non-dedupe data store. I can see all of my incremental backups that I've been taking every 15 minutes, so I can go to any one of these. I can browse the content, so let's say look on the C drive. Actually, while this is mounting, obviously this is pulling data from the cloud for this particular recovery point. I am on a fairly fast internet connection, but let me just compare the size of my data store now. You can see it has grown on disk because it's pulled data down from the cloud, but it's now made that available. I can now choose my temp folder here that I have, and I'll just start the restore process, and I'll restore to I'll create a new folder here called restore 4. Okay, and the restore is completed. I would need to connect to the actual server that we backed up, which I've forgotten its name, UDP slave. X drive. There's my restore 4, and there's the temp folder that I've restored. So I'm extremely excited by this feature, this tool, the ability to take incremental backups and immediately get them off to low-cost object-based storage in the cloud, but also seamlessly be able to restore them without any major intervention from the user's point. If you have any questions or want to learn more about Arcserve UDP or Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage, drop us an email at sales@cloudreadysolutions.com.au, and we'll be delighted to talk to you or sort you out with a trial of either Arcserve UDP or Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage, or both. Thank you.